for Workforce Education. And I'm standing in today for my colleague Corinne Sandy, who many of you know, who is the PI and Director of NCYTE, as well as Director of CIS and Cybersecurity at Whatcom. And I'm really excited to join my colleagues at CASIA and National CyberWatch to provide this update about our centers and to inform those of you attending 3CS. It's a real honor. We can't do an exhibit this year, so here we are giving a presentation. Next slide, please. One back, please. There you go. I wanted to give you a brief overview of the evolution of NCYTE at Whatcom. NCYTE actually started as a grant called CyberWatch West, which was a regional center grant awarded to Mount San Antonio College in California in 2011, with Whatcom as a subawardee. Corinne Sandy was the co-PI at that time. And then the grant came to Whatcom Community College in 2013. It had an original 14-state focus to help expand and strengthen the number of cybersecurity programs at community colleges in the Western US. Through successful funding, we were able to continue the regional center in 2015. And then in 2018 and 19, Whatcom applied for and received National Resource Center grant funding from NSF to continue expanding our efforts, but with a national focus. And thus in 2019, we changed the name from CyberWatch West to NCYTE to better reflect the national focus and avoid confusion with National CyberWatch, which is the current NSF ATE National Center. And you'll be hearing more from Casey soon about their efforts. This fall, we will have the opportunity to apply to become the National Center, as National CyberWatch will no longer be eligible due to NSF rules. So I should also note that Whatcom has been funded now for several years as a Center of Academic Excellence National Resource Center through the National Security Agency and Department of Homeland Security. So we use all of these funding sources to help support all the efforts that NCYTE is now showcasing on its website and providing as a resource to many of you and new colleges as they get on board with cybersecurity. Next slide. So this slide shows just briefly how we are funded through the three grants, actually 4 grants that I mentioned. But most recently, the Regional Center, the Resource Center, and the Resource Center expansion. Next slide, please. This slide summarizes the 4 major emphases of these 3 grants and NCYTE. Goal one is strengthening cybersecurity education in the US. Many of you know Whatcom for its support of the National Security Agency's Center of Academic Excellence program, the CAE, which has been a major focus for Whatcom. We have leveraged National Science Foundation and NSA funding to support and mentor program for community colleges and university faculty and administrators who want to strengthen their programs and apply for the CAE designation. This effort continues today under NCYTE and another ongoing NSF grant known as C5, Catalyzing Computing and Cybersecurity at Community Colleges, as well as with NSA funding. So NSF portion funds the mentee institutions and NSA funds the mentors who help those mentee institutions. In regards to the second goal, expanding and improving pathways, an example here is that we have worked to support the development of information technology model curriculum that was introduced in California in 2015 and has now been adapted in whole or part by several community colleges in California. So one of our subawardees, Cal State San Bernardino, worked on this project and now accepts these courses in transfer, enabling students to earn a 4-year degree in cybersecurity at Cal State San Bernardino. And then as of July 2020, numerous community colleges have agreements with CSUSB to accept these courses and transfer, such as Riverside, Coachella Valley, Moreno Valley, Norco College, Crafton College, Coastline, Chaffee, and San Bernardino Valley. Which was quite an accomplishment because there were very few CAE colleges in California to start. I think maybe none or none. NCYTE posts links to this model curriculum, example pathways, and articulation agreements on our website at ncite.net. For goal 3, providing faculty resources, NCYTE and other Whatcom-based NSF cyber grants have provided hundreds of thousands of dollars in stipends and travel support to fund faculty to attend professional development workshops and conferences, we have sponsored events like 3CS, WISES, focused on women in cybersecurity, ADME, Association of Computer Information Sciences and Engineering departments at minority institutions, NICE, and others. We have also hosted many other workshops on topics like how to apply for the CAE designation or grants for cybersecurity education and the like. And for goal 4, we are working hard to expand our industry contracts through the goal of helping colleges make connections to industry for input on curriculum, connections to their internships and graduates, and for regional workforce development needs. And I'll talk a little bit more, I'll give an example a little bit later about one of our initiatives for in expanding industry participation. Next slide. So this slide just quickly shows you a little bit about how we've grown over time and the impact. As you can see, in 2013, CyberWatch West had just a scattering of members in the 14-state region, plus a few outliers in the middle of the country. Now in 2020, NCYTE has realized over 300 academic members, including community colleges, which make up the majority, then some universities and high schools. Membership is free and includes access to monthly member meetings and webinars, regular updates on resources and information on how to qualify for professional development funding opportunities that I mentioned previously. Next slide. This slide briefly shows Whatcom and NCYTE's total reach, illustrating the total collaboration and touches that we've made over the years, including all our members of NCYTE, all faculty and administrators who have received some kind of professional development support or who have participated with us on curriculum design or review, mentee institutions and mentors for institutions pursuing the CAE designation, members involved in the C5 cybersecurity module and lesson development projects, and colleges involved in the Scholarship for Service C3P pilot program for community colleges currently being administered at Whatcom Community College. And we really are able to leverage these many contacts to find faculty who are able to help us do a variety of things, subject matter experts, give workshops, be mentors, etc. So it's really becoming quite a strong network for, I think, our center and the other initiatives that we're all helping to support. Next slide. And then quickly, this just sort of shows specifically about the growth of the Center of Academic Excellence institutions with support from Whatcom and CyberWatch West and NCYTE. As you can see, in 2011, there were just 13 community colleges that had the CAE2Y designation, and now we're up to 107. So very proud of that and hope to continue to expand those colleges. Next slide. I mentioned our industry initiatives, NCYTE's efforts and goals to foster industry participation with colleges. This slide shows an example of our Industry Night model program that facilitates connections between colleges and regional industry. I know Stephen Miller is on tonight watching, and hi, Stephen. Stephen's the co-PI, shown here with Lynn Clark, Chief over NSA Cybersecurity Education Programs, speaking at events sponsored by NCYTE. We provide facilitation and sponsorship to member institutions in support of these industry events. The goal is really to connect industry to their college and start the dialogue and collaboration on curriculum and connection to students. This one in particular resulted in a program that is helping support a cyber range project for the Mescalero Apache tribe with funding by Reset, a private equity firm. And Stephen is our expert facilitator, so he's flown out to a variety of these and help the colleges make that connection and help facilitate the events. It's been a great project. Next slide, please. Another example of one of our goal accomplishments has been just developing curriculum and providing workshops on that curriculum. This shows a variety of the topics, some of the topics that we either have developed or are in development. The auditing curriculum, the first one was done in collaboration with Cassia and John Sands this past fall and resulted in multiple workshops for faculty professional development. We have provided developed SCADA content and with contributions from George Mason University, co-PI Philip Krager at Embry-Riddle University in Daytona Beach just developed some new drone security curriculum and is working on the other topics you see there on national airspace, maritime, supply chain, and election security. And these are being introduced on NCYTE's new YouTube channel as they are released. As mentioned previously, we have the we've developed cybersecurity modules for colleges to integrate into curriculum and lessons for high school instructors that can be used in AP/CSP courses. These were developed through funding through the C5 grant project at Whatcom. The C5 lessons and related content have been downloaded over 470 times since they were posted just this January, and Whatcom is now working with CodeHS, an approved AP/CSP provider, to launch a new AP/CSP cyber course next year. So these have been very popular with high schools and with colleges for adding activities and projects to their curriculum to illustrate cybersecurity concepts. Our goal for this curriculum is to help faculty really provide that leading edge education to their students to qualify for emerging jobs. Next slide. The last example of one of our goals and accomplishments has been the virtual career fair. We've hosted this for, Cal State San Bernardino has hosted this for several years, working with co-PI Tony Colson. The next fair is scheduled for this coming September 4th, and we invite you all to attend and participate and send your students. CAE colleges provide employers through this process with access to their graduates and interns. Students benefit from meeting with employers and providing their career information online. Projects associated with the fair include resume development workshops to help students prepare. And the project is also connecting to the Cyber Industry Jobs Board on NCYTE's website, where employers can post positions. This also allows us to experiment with the virtual environment that so many of us are doing these days in support of future interactive projects, especially in this time of COVID. The fair has been fairly successful, and we're continuing to refine and improve upon it, and we hope to see you all participating. Next slide, please. So what's coming? NCYTE's goal is to become the next National Science Foundation National Center in Cybersecurity Education. We, of course, are not probably the only college applying, but we're really hopeful that we can build upon our successes and make a really compelling case to NSF. We will be applying this fall, and if successful, we'll receive award next summer sometime. Sub-awardees that we're involving right now will include, as shown here, Tony Colson from Cal State San Bernardino, Stephen Miller from Eastern New Mexico University, Ruidoso Community College, Philip Krager, Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, and John Sands from Cassia and Moraine Valley Community College. Will be collaborating with National Cyber Watch to continue projects and networking and sort of leveraging expertise from Cassia and National Cyber Watch that we have as we have done over the years, such as also like supporting conferences like 3CS. And last, in addition to the 4 goals I described earlier, our center is proposing some new projects that would include, as we mentioned, ongoing collaboration with the centers, but also addressing the faculty shortage through a faculty academy. As you all know, we all struggle to hire cybersecurity faculty and retain them. We want to provide professional development opportunities and perhaps introduce bachelor and master students to teaching cybersecurity, trying to foster that sense of excitement about this as a career path early on to students who we can hopefully meld into faculty in the future. We are considering informing and working with state agencies about available workforce graduating from colleges with a goal to affect hiring practices. We intend to work to validate work roles, continue this work, curriculum and training through projects associated with the NICE framework. And thank you, Casey, for that nice explanation earlier. I won't go into that. We want to continue supporting colleges interested in strengthening their programs and earning the CAE designation, so ongoing support for that activity. And finally, for sustainability, exploring forming a nonprofit throughout the award period that would enable us to support our ongoing efforts, such as 3CS has been successful in doing with their sponsorships, as one example. And that's all I have for you today. I think the idea is that we might take some questions after the 3 centers have presented.
Yeah.
If anyone has questions, though, that they specifically would like to ask Karina or I, please shoot us an email, and please visit our website at NCYTE.net.
Janice, there is a question, if you don't mind taking that now. It's from Vicki, and she says, can non-Center of Academic Excellence students attend the virtual career fair?
I believe so. I think we're inviting CAE colleges. But I will get back to you on that. If you want to send me a quick email, I'll just confirm that.
Maybe you're a co-host. You're welcome to put your contact info. Oh, it's right there on the screen as well. Jwalker at wacom.edu. So, okay.
Yeah.
Well, this is Bob. I was going to ask a question also while you're up there, Janice. Do you have the virtual career fair? I think is uniquely successful. A lot of places have tried it without too much success. Do you have anything on best practices or a model that others can adapt or follow to build a successful virtual career fair?
Casey, you want to go back to that slide? I think there's a little video clip that shows a little bit about it. I personally am not involved in the development of it, and Tony would be the best resource for this, Tony Colson. Okay. But they have definitely continuously improved the process and helping to really make sure that there is a easy way for those students to connect to the industry folks. It seemed like he said that once they had a lot of participants, it became a little bit more challenging to make the meaningful connections. Some of the students were sort of doing drop a resume off and leave. And so they're really working hard to try to foster a meaningful engagement. And I think that's going to be the key if it is to continue doing what it's supposed to do.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Effective. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Casey, you are next. Let us know what's going on with National Cyberwire.